Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time, back with this Monday guest expert, probate attorney, good friend of the channel, Mr. Rylas Dana. How you doing, sir?
Great. It's always good to be here. Enjoy participating on this channel.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, the audience really appreciates you. You've helped a lot of people understand probate and things of that nature, which has been well and good. But you know what? I think it's time for you and I to sit back as the old statesman, right? You and I are, we've been through a couple of recessions. I think
my
it's fair.
kids were teasing me about the gray in my beard. They kept saying, "Oh, Dad, there's something white. You got something
Well, I
on your
got something
face."
white there. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, love the kids. Love the kids. Thank you for that, by the way. Yes. Been there for a while. But yeah, we got a recession coming, whether it started or coming. I don't think it matters. But I think we should step back and talk about just talk about moving into a recession, right? Greg Dickerson always says good times never last, bad times never last, but we're entering one. We have to realize that Generation Z, this will probably be their first of hopefully many recessions because they're just like business cycles. They come and go. But your first time's kind of scary. And if you're not prepared, it's really scary. But if you're ready and you saw this coming, it could be the best time to build wealth. So let's talk about getting into a recession. Let's remind folks that you and I didn't make great decisions all the time because we've been through some and probably made some dumb decisions. Why don't we start there and just reminiscing about mistakes we made in past recessions?
yeah. So, I definitely made mistakes, but this is technically my first one because I was just graduating law school in that time. So I was kind of
Okay.
out on the sidelines then.
All right.
Just, so I graduated law school in '09.
Okay.
As
Wow.
things were kind of falling apart. So for the first time, my class, my year of people was the first time law firms canceled their summer contracts.
Yeah, I'm sure that wasn't fun, right? You go to law school all those years, you exit, you plan to intern, I guess it's called, and then you are going to be studying for the bar, and suddenly the world changes. That probably wasn't a lot of fun.
No, no. So luckily I already had a job lined up in a family business, the business of estate planning and probate.
Mm-hmm.
But it changed that business too, but I don't really know before that as much, right?
Sure. Nope.
Because I didn't jump all the way in until
Right.
right in '09.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Go ahead.
yeah, so my perspective that first time is kind of watching it, so first the run up, all my friends told me I was an idiot for going to school as they're making tons of money, because they're loaning money to everyone and they're buying 2 and 3 houses.
Mm-hmm.
And then about the time I graduated, a little bit after, like the pain was just starting for all those people. And then all of a sudden I like the term now, the stimulus ballers, but
Yeah.
whatever you want to call them back then, they
Yeah.
were starting to kind of undo and lose everything. So
Yeah. Well, again, it's funny. We go through these cycles, and yeah, we call them stimulus ballers today, but we had the same kind of frothy stupidity back then. People were buying, crazy cars. I remember reading. So I invest in Fresno, California, as everybody knows, but there's a small city, just to the, I guess it'd be to the south, called Tulare, much smaller. And there was a real estate agent. I think he was 24, maybe 26 at the time, and he just bought one of 10 kind of Maseratis or some kind of rare car, right? A $300,000 car. This is like '06, like one of 10. There's only 10 made, and some kid in Tulare County's got one. And I'm like, oh, this is not good. This, because I'd been through the .com crash and remembered the stupidity from that. So that was my ultimate sign that something is wrong, right? Rare cars are not supposed to end up with a 26-year-old kid in Tulare. That's not how it's supposed to work. So that was my first sign that this epic crash was coming.
yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
So and then you probably saw a good deal in that car a little bit later.
Oh, I'm sure you did. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So that's really, these are signs that you could watch. So again, something that's just started to happen with stimulus ballers. They're talking about Rolex watches, like Daytona, for example, is one of the watches that just went off the shelf. You went to a Rolex store the last 2 years, no inventory. Well, you know what? Those are starting to come back up on the used market. And I've had various articles talk about the Rolex Daytona already rolling over. These are these are predictable, right? This is kind of my third rodeo. So as I saw the Rolex watch go crazy, I'm like, I know how this is going to end. And you just never know when, right? It always goes on a little longer than you think, but it does end. And it goes with Rolex watches. It'll go to fancy purses. It will eventually go to luxury cars. We have seen debt, bad debt or non-payment on loans, even luxury cars skyrocket, and it will impact the luxury car market here very, very soon, I suspect.
Yeah, yeah. So, the main thing is the real estate, right? So I've been, on this channel, it's what you focus on.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess kind of, preparing for the recession, what I've been doing is, leaning into your channel and other places that are actually, have been there and that are actually doing transactions. I don't pay any attention to just the talkers that are entertainment
Mm-hmm.
and selling views basically.
Mm-hmm.
But watch people that are actually doing things and just learn. And this morning I saw like in the regular mainstream media is just like you predicted, they're the articles about the real estate are now coming out.
Mm-hmm.
So in the regular places, you're saying how the
Predictable.
Phoenix inventory is skyrocketing.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess kind of prepping going into this,
Mm-hmm.
what I've been doing is like listening to Greg Dickerson, yourself, all these great people we can listen to and learn from.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, cut down expenses, stack cash, get ready to be able to buy because it's gonna be a great time to buy.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess the more difficult liquidity gets, the better it is to be a buyer.
Absolutely right. Correct. Yeah. What I would tell people is, yeah, this is the time to stack cash. Um, lower expenses, sell things you don't need. Also grow your network. Meet more lenders. I had my number one expert, or I'm sorry, my number one investor in Fresno, and now my Sunday expert, Jason Pritchard. He just told me about a lender who stopped making loans until the end of August. This is a non-QM lender, hard money lender. That's wild. You need to build your network of lenders, both traditional, non-QM, hard money, private money. But the other thing that you're doing that you haven't brought up yet is you've leaned into Pace Morby. Pace Morby is going to be this generation's Carlton Sheets, Robert Allen. There is no question in my mind. In 5 to 10 years, he will go down. He's the guy who helped more people because of creative financing. And you're lucky enough to be in his backyard. You're lucky enough to be on his team. So again, the work that you've done with Pace Morby might have been hard the last couple of years because, again, it was a cash market. But the market that's 2 or 3 years ahead of you, dude, you're going to be so richly rewarded for every second you spent with Pace and his team. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, the creative financing. Yeah, lucky to met Pace. I always tell the story. I first met him, I kind of brushed him off like every other real estate investor. I was like, oh, who's this dude? But great. It's glad that I'm glad to consider him a friend and seeing him grow. And he's definitely helped me grow in a lot of ways too. And just that's part of the community that I lean into as well. People that are doing,
Mm-hmm.
actually out there doing and sharing how they're doing, right? They're,
Mm-hmm.
helping others. They don't have other intentions.
Nope.
So it's yeah, it's really exciting because things are lining up for a great, creative financing. And it's nice to hear it in multiple places now, right? I hear other people talking about buying properties subject to the mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Greg Dickerson's,
Mm-hmm.
shared about it some, you talk about it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, what I would tell anybody right now, if you were going to lean in, because again, I talk, 22 years of experience, and my tool belt's not complete. One of my weaknesses, one of the tools that I am missing is creative financing, subject to all of that stuff. I've got to make it down to Pace's mastermind one of these times. You just got to never stop learning. This is going to be an amazing opportunity to build wealth, grow your network. I plan to deploy less cash and get more assets. That's what the next 2 to 4 years will be for me because of creative and seller financing. It's just going to be an amazing time. I am not scared. I'm excited. But for many people, this is their first time. So you got to step back and realize what they're going through.
yeah, I'm trying to spread the word about creative financing to my networks. I copy a lot of things you do and your people, right? That's the idea. That's why you're here. But I loved your video where you said I'm buying and you
Yeah.
explain what you're buying.
Yeah.
So
We're right up front. I'm buying. This is what I'm buying. Yeah.
I did a video just like that,
Nice.
explaining that I'm buying, creative deals, from, so if you're a homeowner
Hmm.
and you want other options, or if you're an agent and you got properties that aren't moving,
Yeah.
or if you're a wholesaler that you got people that are interested in terms.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a genius. Again, when you see something that works, just rinse and repeat. Do it. This is what real friends. And this is not about zero sum games. A lot of people over the years of like, here's a crazy talk track. I've had probably 1,000 people over my 20 years say, why do you keep talking about Fresno, California? Aren't you afraid of competition? I'm like, that's not how I think. I think more investors there is great, right? I got to do my job. I got to do my thing. Yeah, another 1,000 competitors are, I just don't look at it that way. We all win, and we all win or lose together. So yeah, and Pace is by far the largest go giver that I've seen. So just for me being very casually on the outside of his, second or third network is amazing. I couldn't imagine being that close to him as you are. So it's a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, it's all about the abundance mentality, right? Half full, half empty. It's all in your perspective. And if you want to look at the negative and focus on that, you'll achieve that. But if
Mhm.
you lean into and you realize there's plenty out there,
Yeah,
it's not a zero sum, right? By helping someone else, it does not take away from you. It,
exactly.
and what's cool about Pace and his community is they're proving that, right? They're proving that as you help others and you share, it actually it benefits you, even though
Yeah,
it benefits others too. It also, don't worry about it. You'll get yours too.
yeah, the sub two community is one to watch. The network effect or whatever, the positive carry or whatever you want to call it, is really amazing to watch.
Yeah, yeah. One of his events a while ago, I went to stop by at his house, and it was cool. I met some other ORAT people there
Oh
too.
yeah,
Some of
that's fun.
yeah, I got to meet Ty. I was like, wait, I'm like, how do I know you? I was like, oh wait, wonderful time. I met yeah, Ty was there,
That's great.
and then we were talking to Laura Morby, who she was a
Oh
more
yeah.
regular guest then.
Yeah, she
So
was. Yeah, that's I just yeah. What I would love one rental at a time and sub two to get closer together. Maybe we'll do something together in the future. Pace, if you're watching or listening, or anybody knows Pace, let's do something. Let's help more people. The last thing to kind of talk about recessions, Rylas, that I think people need to hear is they're not moments, right? I'm very nervous for the people heading into this one that kind of thought March 2020 was a recession. It was. If you look at the charts, there's a little gray bar. It was a recession. But that V-shaped recovery is unnatural. That was the Fed printing trillions of dollars, the government giving free money away. If you're expecting a V-shaped bottom for this recession, you are going to be greatly disappointed. This is going to be a long slog. You got to put in a bottom. The bottom's going to be, we're going to be there for a while, and don't expect a V-shaped recovery. Is that fair?
yeah, I'd say it's really interesting right now, right? It's different than before, especially the Phoenix market where I'm at. Because there's so many you have Open Door that owns a ton of properties and things like that. So it's so much different
Oh
where
yeah.
from the 08, 09 thing.
Yeah, let's talk about Phoenix a little bit because I've talked to, I think his name is John Wake, Wake, I believe, and he really enlightened me to, frankly, the problem in Phoenix. I had often thought that Vegas and Phoenix were the same, and again, this is coming from a guy who's never bought in either market, so I'm reading papers, and I thought that. I now believe Vegas and Phoenix are completely different. Let me explain. So both markets have a median price. They're roughly the same. I think Phoenix is like 515 and Vegas is 486, roughly the same. Call it 500. Vegas right now, and it could change tomorrow, but as of right now, seems to be building inventory the fastest 750 and above. It's where all the new development is. It's all the $1 million homes. It's all that inventory. The low end, still, what comes on goes off. There's just none. So what we'll likely have in Vegas is you will see plenty of price drops, but the median will still be pulled higher because $1 million house pulled to 900 is still above the median. Phoenix, again, this came from John Wake, blew my mind because of Open Door and their just large percentage of properties. They're actually pulling the median lower in Phoenix, right? Wherever the median is, a lot of the Open Door inventory is below the median. And that is going to pull the median lower. And that's just going to be a wild change to watch. What do you see?
Yeah, so my perspective is I just kind of skip all those Open Door listings in my little buy box.
Yeah, just come on.
I'm not going to deal with them, and I see them sitting there longer, and they're tough to find because they have their own brokerage, but they have so many. They also have other brokerages that are selling some of their properties too. So it's not obvious for when you just look on Zillow or Realtor.com. It's not obvious what their listings are.
Yeah. You know what I would do with an Open Door listing? So again, I've been doing this a long time. So back in like 2010, as my market was we would get a new foreclosure list every Monday. It just became a process that you could set your clock to. So what I would do is, Monday morning, I would go in, I would see the new list. I'd write 10 offers. I'd get 6 properties or whatever it was, but I would never pay list price because I knew I could write it 11. Just at the time, it was 11% of list price. They'd say yes. That's just what you figured out. So guess what? Every offer was 11% of list price. What I might do with an Open Door listing, this would be an older one. So maybe 30 days, 60 days. I don't know what long is in Phoenix, but I'd write a crazy ass low offer just to see, right? I don't know. Like if there was one listed at 400, shoot, I'd write it at 320 because I want to see the reaction because eventually Open Door is not like mom and dad. Open Door is a company. They're publicly traded. They have investors to handle. They have quarterly earnings to report. Eventually, these crazy inventory numbers are going to be a drag on their balance sheet. I would find an old listing and I'd write a stupid low offer because it's not that you're going to get it. I want to see how they react. Do they decline? Do they counter? Because I'm trying to learn. And that's how I learned that 11% was the numbers. I wrote a lot of offers and I figured it out.
Yeah. So a while ago, I did that a couple times and they basically just declined. They're like,
Okay.
we don't care. They're like, at least, that was yet. They didn't care at that time. I like Steve Trang's perspective on it. You had him on your channel. He's another great Phoenix powerhouse. But his perspective is he doesn't think they're trying to make money, right? He thinks the whole the company's kind of there just to lose money and just kind of plug along.
It's going to be closed door if that's the case. So eventually, public companies have to make money. Right?
Yeah, eventually. But so I'm more searching for the creative deals, the seller finance. So that's kind of why I'm skipping them because I know they're not going to want to carry a note or things like that.
That's really interesting. I hadn't thought about that. Does Open Door have a finance arm?
I don't know if they do. They may have a mortgage company that they use.
Because again, just trying to get creative, I might force that because again, eventually they're in. What I see in Open Door is they have a real big problem and it's not getting better. They're eventually going to have to get creative. They're either going to slash prices or get creative. You want to kind of push that rock.
My guess or what I think they would do is sell a big block, right? If they offer a discount, I think they're going to go to someone and be like, all right, we have, 100 or whatever here.
Blackstone's raised $50 billion here in the last month. So they go, hey, do you want 1,000 Phoenix homes? Yes, please.
Yeah. They go to my buddy Dallas Tanner, I'll name drop, CEO of Invitation Homes.
There you go.
People like him, and they say, yeah, let's buy, sell us. Yeah. We'll take 100 of those. Or
those are the way. Yeah. They've got to get out from under this because, again, they can't just have inventory build in vacant homes. That doesn't last forever.
Although I will say this, I've had legal clients of mine. I've seen good deals from some of those iBuyers by doing what you said. Just making the low offer, and if they're finally ready on that property, then they will let it go. Yeah,
the thing that I would tell you to do is go look when Open Door's quarter because they have not. Once you're a public company, you live 3 months at a time. Like let's just say their quarter ended July 31st. I'd be writing crazy offers today. Because what they're going to want to tell the street, assuming they close on the 21st, when they talk to the street on August 21st, is, hey, we got 21% of our properties are pending. They're not going to give a rat's ass about the price. So I would use once you're public, I would use the calendar against them, frankly.
Yeah, that's a good point. How does someone look that up? Can they just find that with the public
Yeah, you
companies?
should be able to you can just go to CNBC or Yahoo, put in their stock symbol, go down to the notes on the company. It'll be published. The quarter closing date will be there. Public information.
Yeah. I want to hear more. I'm interested to see how your postcard campaign
Yeah.
goes too. So I'm
Yeah.
going to copy that as well.
Yeah. This is going to be a campaign that I'm gonna have to run 6 months in a row, kind of like your open door comment earlier. It's early. So I'm gonna hit them up probably 6 months in a row, the same list.
With
And right
mail, you got to be long on it, right? You
yeah,
got to have at least a 6-month timeline on a mail campaign.
yeah. So it was 900 people roughly. I think it was 878. We've already gotten 12 phone calls. It's going 100 at a time.
Wow, that's great. You've already
Yeah,
gotten 12 phone calls.
yeah.
That's great results already then.
Yeah, no leads. I mean, no real deals yet, but people that, again, dude, this front of this card is the best card I've ever seen. Housing crash, we're still buying, right? And then this, we're going to improve the back a little bit, but yeah, it's working.
And your list is multifamily owners you're hitting?
2 through 4, 60% equity. Because again, I want to push seller financing in my 50, 40, 10. I'm going to get a deal done, probably several deals that way.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's exciting as I'm watching inventory build. I'm just like, all right, let's
here we go.
Let it build. Let's let the motivation start.
That's right.
Let's see who's motivated and who's not.
Yeah, wants versus needs. I think Phoenix is going to be an interesting market because I think you're going to have a lot of people, i.e. open door, need to sell eventually. So, Riley, if somebody wanted to reach out and understand probate, get some services of yours in California and Phoenix, how would they reach out?
You can go to rylisdana.com, my first and last name. You can find links to my law firm where I practice law in Arizona and California. You can find a link to my YouTube channel, Mott Legal. I have some good videos there for investors, like a checklist if you got probate and things like that. And then you'll also find, I got a link on there to our playlist here.
That's awesome. Riley, thank you for all you're doing. Thank you for giving us a half hour of your time. And thank you for being an active member of the group. Thanks.
Thanks for having me.